Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Veja, your host of Music TO. We're here with Jake Miller. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for being here.
I know sometimes you wanna go and give up.
Thank you. So, tell us, has your music changed since your childhood, and who was your biggest inspiration growing up?
My music taste always changes, just like everybody. The first band that I can, think back to listening to was like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. So Justin Timberlake has kind of been, my idol since I can remember, and that hasn't really changed. Eminem was kind of like the first person that I, really developed my love for hip hop. And John Mayer has kind of been there since I remember listening to music. He's really like a constant that hasn't changed. His lyrics have always spoke to me and still do. But nowadays I'm listening to, Drake, Kendrick Lamar, people like that I didn't really know when I was 13 or 12 years old. But music taste always changes. And I realized that I wanted to be in music when I was like middle of high school and start making my own music. And yeah.
So, can you remember the very first record that you heard from your parents that really blew your mind, though?
My dad was always playing Bruce Springsteen. It never really blew my mind. I didn't really appreciate it as much as I do now.
Yeah.
But he was always, playing. When we went to the Keys, he would play Bruce Springsteen, Bob Marley, Jimmy Buffett. But I didn't really appreciate it the way I do now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you. And that's really cool. So, as far as all the different influences that you have, I mean, that's why you have a hybrid sound. Like back to the start, I've noticed that you have singing and rapping on there, which is awesome, and you're a really great rapper. Do you feel like your future music's gonna have more rapping on it, or are you gonna keep it more on the singing side?
I never really know what I'm doing until I'm actually in the studio. So I never really like to think like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do for the next project. It's just whatever I feel that day when I walk into the studio. I like to be a hybrid of singing and rapping and just kind of catch people off guard sometimes. I told everybody I was taking a break from rapping, and then I, rapped a little bit on this album, which was a nice surprise. So I'm definitely more into singing these days and concentrating on my vocals, but rapping is just a thing that I've always thought was just fun. It's not like rapping is like in my blood and I'm like spitting bars. It's just something that I have fun doing. And so I don't think that will ever go away, but singing is really my priority right now.
So I heard it through the grapevine that you are an amazing musician and you play guitar and piano. So were you self-taught, or did you ever take lessons growing up?
I never took any lessons. I feel like music has just always been in my blood and my family's blood. The first thing I learned how to do was play drums, and my dad would play guitar in our music room, and I would play the drums. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I just kind of wanted to keep up with him. He was rocking. He used to be in a band, so he would sing and he would play guitar, and I would just like sit there pretending like I knew what I was doing on the drum set. After every day of school in middle school, I would come home, I would put my headphones on, and I would try to drum along to all these, alternative rock band songs like Blink-182 and Linkin Park and all of these bands that I just kind of like my love for like the alternative scene. Like I really appreciate that scene too. The Starting Line, All Time Low, and then I learned how to play guitar. I went on YouTube, taught myself how to do that, and then actually I just learned how to play piano a year ago. Not even. So that was also YouTube, and you can pretty much teach yourself how to do anything on YouTube these days.
Oh, of course. I mean, YouTube is the future, so that's amazing. Yeah. So you're very close with your family, obviously, and have they been a big influence, of your whole career and helped you, as your number one support system? Like.
For sure. I mean, my whole life growing up, music was just a hobby of mine, and my whole goal was to, I was just a normal kid, so my goal was to get good grades, get good scores on my SATs, ACTs, go to a good college, get a good normal job, and that's what I did, and I studied really hard all through school, and right before I was supposed to go to college, I got into like 9 colleges, and they were all really good schools, and right before I was supposed to start, I decided not to go to any of them, and so my parents, they got a lot of their friends, a lot of my friends, they were kind of, they were just telling us that we were going down the wrong path. Like my parents would literally go out to dinner with other parents, my friends' parents, and they would be like, "What are you doing? Like, you're letting your kid not go to college?" Like, I came from a city where everybody, the grass was green, the neighborhoods were gated, everybody went to college. I was just like, I was really lucky to grow up in that kind of environment. And so when I decided not to go to school, everybody thought we were crazy. But my family was the only, support system, and they believed in me, and so they were the ones that kind of gave me the shot and let me not go to school and concentrate on music.
Got me feeling like. Yeah. Look, girl, you got me faded. Like I downed the whole bottle. Yeah, you walked in the room looking like a Victoria's Secret.
Speaking of YouTube, I heard that you used to upload a lot of different content on online. So what kind of stuff were you uploading at the time?
When I first created my YouTube channel, that was like before social media. I think the only thing that was kind of relevant back then was Facebook. It was like just starting. MySpace was just dying out, so I didn't really have any way to, share my music besides YouTube. And so I was just making, original songs on GarageBand, really simple beats, just loops that came in GarageBand. I was singing over them using the microphone that came with my iPhone headphones. I didn't have a microphone. And my sister would go out with me and shoot music videos. The camera that we would use was the camera attached to our laptop, the built-in. Yeah, so it was all like very low resolution, like the quality was really bad. And I would just upload it to YouTube, and it would get a couple hundred views and then a couple thousand, and I just kept going and going and taking it more and more seriously, and people just started paying more and more attention. We just hit 100 million views on my channel last week, so yeah.
Good job.
It's been crazy. It's been awesome.
Congratulations. That's a great accomplishment. Did you ever think in a million years that this would happen, like at the second in your life, like this?
No, definitely not. But I mean, I always saw it happening. I didn't ever know if it was possible, but I've always, I always saw the vision, and there's just been a lot of stepping stones along the way that have it's been a long, slow grind, and I think that's the coolest part, because it's not like I was like an overnight success, and I think one day when I do become, a household name, I think a lot of people who followed me from the beginning, they'll know that it wasn't an overnight success. I've been doing this for a while, and so I'm very happy with the projection that everything's going, and as long as I'm making music every day and making people happy through my music, I can't really complain.
So I heard that you love touring, and you've been all over the world, and you've even done shows with Ariana Grande, Flo Rida, even Snoop Dogg. What is it about touring that you love so much?
Well, I mean, sharing the stage with people like that is just, inspiration for me, because these are people, that I've grown up listening to my whole life on the radio, even some people that I had posters of in my bedroom. And now to be able to, share the stage with them, or even get to talk to them backstage, and even to have them know who I am, that means a lot to me as an artist, just because, it makes me feel like I've made it, not to their level, but I'm on my way. So being around those artists is an inspiration. And then, touring is just so much fun, because I'm not only traveling to see different cities that I've never seen, but I'm also doing it with my best friends. My tour manager, my whole band, everyone that I tour with, they're my best friends. So to be able to experience such a cool thing with your best friends, like, there's nothing better than that. We just got back from a full European tour. We hit 17 cities. Half of them I've never been to before. I didn't know what to expect going into some cities like Zurich, Switzerland. Turns out to be like one of my favorite places ever, and I got to experience it with my friends. And not to mention, obviously, I'm playing shows every night, which is my absolute favorite thing to do. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm meeting the fans, I'm playing my music. It can't get better.
Yeah. So speaking of touring, what's your craziest backstage story?
We don't have too many crazy backstage stories, not gonna lie. The thing is, we're never backstage, especially if we're in Europe. We'll wake up at like 7 in the morning, and we'll literally Google like top 10 things to do in Antwerp, Belgium, wherever we are. And we are just out the entire time, renting jet skis, renting four-wheelers, skydiving, whatever. Like, we're just trying to make the most out of every single city. And then we go back to the venue like 30 minutes before I go on stage, and I shower real quick. Yeah, I mean, and then, I might take a shot or two, and we might turn some music on, and that's pretty much it. Nothing crazy happens backstage. The crazy stuff happens on the bus after the show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're like, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm always down to make some rumors. Rumors, yeah. They saw me sneaking out your crib last night, 3 a.m. to catch a flight.
Congratulations on your big spread with Entertainment Weekly.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And they said that you were one of the Breaking Big 9 artists on the rise.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be on top of the world?
To be on top of the world. Entertainment Weekly says... It feels amazing. I mean, Entertainment Weekly is, an outlet that a lot of people pay attention to. So anytime that somebody that big, credits me and says that I'm, one of the rising stars, that, that just kind of solidifies what I'm doing. Growing up, all the positive feedback that I got at the beginning was just from my friends and family. so it's kind of biased. So when I hear people like that, or like MTV naming me an artist to watch, it's just like, it's solidifying what I'm doing, and it just inspires me to keep going.
Yeah, I bet you like pinch yourself sometimes, right? You're
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. I mean, these are people who actually know what they're talking about,
yeah.
who are in the music and entertainment industry. So if they actually believe that I'm an artist to watch, that's really cool. It's not one of my friends or family saying that.
Yeah. So I saw the cover of your new album.
Yes.
It's totally dope. Tell us how you guys got away with shooting this guerrilla style downtown with the bed and the guitars. How did you guys do that?
Well, so the name of the album is called 2 a.m. in LA, so I thought it was important to, the whole point of the album is kind of, I'm single for the first time in a long time, and I'm recently, moved to LA, and so I wanted there to be, a bed in the middle of somewhere in LA. I wanted it to be in Hollywood Boulevard, but we realized that to do that, we would probably get arrested, and the permit was like $40,000, so we took a bed. I rented a U-Haul truck. I put a bed in the back of a U-Haul truck. We drove to downtown LA like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
No cars on the road. We didn't have a permit. Super guerrilla style, just like what you said. And we threw the bed in the middle of the road. We took a picture, and it literally took like 20 seconds once the bed was in the middle of the road. And then we had to disassemble it and put it back in the bed.
20 seconds?
Yeah.
That's it?
We went there the night before to like frame out the exact like where we wanted the bed compared to the camera, and so it was perfect. And it just kind of symbolizes like, me in my room, but like surrounded by like the craziness of LA. And so I thought it turned out to be an amazing cover.
Yeah. It looks dope, and I love the colors.
Thank you. Yeah, me too.
Who was the photographer?
Mark Singerman. He killed it. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I saw some sexy photos of you online that he's taken of you, so you guys are a great team.
Thank
so.
you. Yeah, we also did like pictures leading up to the album release to kind of talk about each track and what it meant to me. So yeah, he did a great job.
Yeah. So speaking of sexy, we all know that you're a heartthrob and that you're obviously into fitness, and we all need tickets to the gun show. How important is fitness and health to you, and what inspires you to, work out all the time, and what's your favorite thing to do in the gym?
My favorite thing to do in the gym kind of is just, put in music and work out. It's not like I have like a specific like workout or exercise I like to do. Working out for me is, a little bit about getting my body right, but it's mostly to get my mind right, and it's just kind of to escape, the world and escape social media for an hour and not think about music, or just literally put my headphones in and listen to like, sometimes Kendrick, sometimes Eminem, and just kind of take myself out of the world for an hour and just kind of, work out. And on top of that, I like to look good, so yeah. I just worked out earlier before this, so it just gets your day started in a really great way and makes me want to get into the studio feeling good, feeling healthy, and my brain is working now, and so now I want to go write songs.
Have you ever had any crazy things sent to you in the mail, or any crazy fan stories?
Way too many to tell you. I don't really give away my, my P.O. box or house address, so I don't really get any mail sent to me. But I've gotten a lot of things given to me, a lot of things I shouldn't say on camera. A lot of, one of the craziest things that it's not really given to me, but that I come across is fans who have my lyrics tattooed, sometimes literally just my signature tattooed. And so, that's not giving something to me, but it's just as meaningful. It's probably more meaningful than any gift that you can give me. I'll after shows, I'll like handwrite out some of their favorite lyrics, and they'll go get them tattooed. And I have like hundreds of pictures on my computer of all these pictures that people have sent me on Twitter of lyric tattoos. So that's amazing. Some girl gave me a diamond ring once, asked to marry me. Yeah, and then there's some other things I definitely can't talk about, but it's been way too many crazy stories to count.
I hear you. So speaking of relationships, are you single, or are you currently dating anybody?
Nope, I'm single.
Okay. See?
Yep.
Girls, we have
Working
a
very
chance.
hard on the music right now, though. Super focused on, nothing but music.
Yeah. So basically, you're married to your music.
Married to the music, I really am.
That's a good thing. That's why you're successful, and music won't cause you problems.
No.
It's only going to help you.
Yeah. It's a therapy session to go in there and write songs. I do it because I love music, but I also do it because it helps me and it gets my mind right. So right now, I've never really been more focused in my life. I just got out of my record deal. So for the past few years, I've had my creative control stripped from me a little bit. So to have that back is just like, no one can stop me now. Like I'm not letting anybody get in my way.
Yeah. So speaking of you leaving your old label and starting your own, I mean, you've done very well with this record. How does it feel to just have 150% artist control, and that you can do whatever you want and you don't have to worry about
No,
checking in?
it feels amazing. It's like taking it back to the roots of when I was 18 and just starting. and not knowing anything about the industry and not knowing about all the crazy politics behind everything. Like when you get more and more into the industry and meet all these people and get involved with all these companies, it's like it kind of starts to take away from the fun of making the music, because there's so many other factors that go into, you know, making music that nobody outside of the music industry really knows. And so now I'm kind of taking it back to the roots. I'm just going in, I'm making the music that I want to make, the music that I want to listen to, and if people like it as well, that's just a bonus. I made all 10 songs in this album in my bedroom.
Yeah, all by yourself, too.
I produced all the beats, I wrote all the lyrics, I cut all the vocals in there.
You're like a one-stop shop.
That's
Sexy
kind of,
one-stop
thank
shop.
you. That's my goal right now. I just want to be, you know, a one-man show. I don't want to have to rely on anybody. And so my fans got it to #1 on iTunes. I can't complain. Nobody's taking my money, and
Right?
I feel good. Yeah.
That's a good thing. That's very, very inspiring to, you know, up-and-coming artists and stuff. And speaking of which, what is your biggest piece of advice to give to anybody who wants to get into the music business?
I mean, it's very like cliche, corny, but just stay true to yourself. I feel like it's very easy these days to kind of follow trends and see what's popular and try to go in that direction. But a friend of mine told me, if people go left, you go right. For a while, I was going into the studio and I was, you know, looking at songs that are on the top of the charts and thinking, okay, cool, this is working, so let's redo this and let's try to make this exact song. But that's not ever what works. You have to stay true to yourself, because when you make music from your heart, people feel it really well. And so you just have to always, like, whatever you're feeling, put that into your music. Yeah.
You hear that, guys?
Don't copy any trends.
That's
Stay true to
right.
yourself.
Listen to Jake Miller. Look, he's very successful, and he knows what he's talking about.
Thank you.
I know sometimes you wanna go and get